Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dylan Distorted back again with another, hilarious Reddit video, blah, blah, blah. This one's actually not hilarious. The stories that I picked are actually kind of traumatizing. So if you're triggered easily, I definitely suggest you skip this episode. I don't even know how I would make this funny. Reading over these, I just kind of feel sad. So, hope you enjoy in some dark, twisted way. These stories come from r/GalaxyWideRevenge. Okay, this one originally comes from the user Up Constantinople, but it was reposted, cross-posted, by Rhinos the Redditor. Abused wife and mother watches husband die. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. New user, no abbreviations. This happened in the late 90s, so enough time has elapsed to safely disclose. I had a friend back then who had been widowed for 4 years. She told me her story of victimization at the hands of her abusive and violent husband. She was mid-20s when her husband died. She was married to a man 20 years her senior. They married when she was still a teenager, and they had a 5-year-old son when her husband died. Her husband was an abusive and violent man who kept tight control over her and the boy. He was emotionally abusive and very threatening towards their son. He saved the physical violence for his wife alone. During their marriage, she had been savagely beaten many times. She had permanent scars on her body and had been hospitalized several times with broken bones and other serious injuries. She was in fear of her life every day. She was so controlled she was a slave in her own home, fearful of ever stepping out of line. One form of control was to always know where she was at any given moment, and if she ever had to leave the house to shop or run errands, she would be timed. She was given a time frame to be back in the house, and if she was even just 1 minute late, she was severely beaten. The husband was a licensed gun owner who owned a legal rifle and ammunition as he enjoyed hunting, and he would take that rifle, hold it to her head, and tell her that if she ever attempted to leave him, he would hunt her down and kill both her and their son. As well as the beatings, he would sometimes take the rifle, hold it to her head, and pull the trigger. It was unloaded, but that did not diminish the terror she experienced each time, she told me. She said she was left with no doubt at all that if she ever ran, he would find them and kill them both. Another weapon he used against her was to threaten suicide if she ever left. Many abusers use the manipulation tool of threatening suicide or self-harm to keep their victims tethered to them. When abusers threaten suicide or self-harm, they are causing the fear to rise within victims so that they don't leave. In this way, threats of suicide are being used as a method of control, and an incredibly common manipulation tactic used by people with borderline personality disorder, among other issues. Her husband did have dangerous medication in the house. I don't know what it was, but he would handle this bottle of pills whenever he issued a suicide threat. One day, she had to leave the house to shop for food. On the way back, she was caught in traffic that delayed her return to the house within the time frame she had been given. She said the fear and panic was intense because she knew she would return to another serious beating. She said it felt like her insides were being ripped out of her body as she pulled into the driveway 10 minutes late. She said she walked into the house in a state of blind panic, anticipating the beating, when she saw him. He was motionless on the couch with the open bottle of pills on the floor beside him. She said she stood there and looked at him with a million thoughts of panic running through her head. Then she made her decision. She went to the other couch and sat down and looked at him, and she said at that moment, her heart was pounding in her chest. She knew what he had done. He had done it once before. She was supposed to walk in and find him breathing but unconscious, and in a state of panic, call an ambulance for him, just like last time. But this time, she was 10 minutes late home. Last time she got him help in time, but this time she just looked at him. He wasn't breathing, no rise and fall in his chest. She said she looked at the clock on the wall and sat there looking at him, overcoming the panic and emotions, and stayed sitting there till 10 minutes had passed, till she knew he could not be resuscitated, and only then did she walk to the phone and make the call. She said the emergency services and police saw her obvious distress, the crying, the panic, the breakdown, and assumed it was a wife in distress at losing her husband. They didn't know they watched someone who had just been rescued, someone who was at last free. The authorities did not doubt suicide, as it was on record that he had tried it once before. That is the story of how one abused young lady and mother finally became free. P.S. She did rebuild her life, went back to school, earned her degree, and moved on to build a solid and safe life for herself and her son. I hadn't seen her for years, but had no doubts she has never had any regrets over sitting on that couch that day and watching her husband die. Holy fuck, I feel no sympathy for this guy. People who abuse anybody else in their life like this, just get fucked. I'm glad that he fucking died. It's not really a hot take. I'm sure that most of you are glad he died as well. I mean, there's also that, bullshit, death is always sad, but, I'm of the firm belief, if you're willing to do that to someone you're supposed to love and threaten to fucking kill your child, you can fucking die for all I care. Are we having fun yet? I told you guys, there's very serious topics. I get a little bit heated. I don't know how to make this episode funny because I either want to cry or I want to fucking, kill someone. Oh, man, I'm fucking cursing a lot. Fuck. Oh, there's an ambulance in the background. That is great. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay, this next story comes to us from Togmork. Togmork. This story has two other subreddits, revenge subreddits, that I guess I'll have to cover in the future. r/BlackHoleRevenge and r/BigBangRevenge. You bully me for 8 years? Enjoy missing half your body. Oh god, this one. You may have seen this post on r/BlackHoleRevenge and r/BigBangRevenge, but people keep telling me this belongs higher and higher. Anyway, so to start off, I was a 14 straight A student, and vengeful as vengeful can get when this happened. When I was 6, new kid came to my school. We'll call him Douchebag. And he started picking on me.
Oh, great.
But I didn't really pay too much attention. Fast forward a couple years, and I'm 11. The picking transformed into straight up bullying, calling me names, beating me up for being a nerd, being atheist, his family is Christian, stealing from me. He even hit me in the leg with a metal baseball bat, destroying my fibula and tibia. They're both fine now, though. It got to the point where the popular kids ganged up on me and beat me up every day. This continued until that very day. We were leaving on a trip to the zoo. I was widely interested in animals, so I was excited. Douchebag must have seen this because he made my day a living hell. The time came. We got to the bears, and Douchebag came up to me and whispered to me, "I'd love you to be eaten alive by those things." Before we continue, I'll say there was a 15-foot or so gap that separated the bridge we were standing on and the floor where the bears were. Back to the story. I backed off, and I waited for him to be distracted. I saw the opportunity. I grabbed him by the legs and dropped him beside a bear. The bear must have been scared because he started mauling Douchebag. 2 other bears joined. We were evacuated immediately. I just recently heard that Douchebag survived, but is missing both of his eyes, his nose, his left arm, and both of his legs. Oh my fuck. Nothing more satisfying than seeing the one who tormented you for almost a decade fall victim to your plans. No one messed with me after that day. Douchebag, if you're reading this, I'm not sorry. Oh, that's right. You have no eyes.
Oh my fucking god, it's brutal.
And then in the comments says, I sort of wish Douchebag had a person reading Reddit for him now. I mean, I guess I'm the person reading Reddit for him if he watches my videos. Oh wait, never mind. Later on in the comments it says, the author forgot to add this update. I just got a text from my friend that Douchebag actually committed suicide yesterday. Okay. Now I'm even more sad, but at the same time, I'm not sad because he was... I guess this one would be a little bit sad. He was a kid. He was still bullying, so it's like, you get that, but I don't think, bullying deserves to be fucking mauled by bears. I was beaten by, a group of jocks in high school, and I can't even say that I would want them to be mauled by bears. Maybe mauled by rabbits? We can just get a bunch of feral rabbits. There you go, guys. Get on it. Get me a bunch of feral rabbits, and we'll take care of this. My God, this episode was a fucking train wreck. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed anyway. I guess we'll call it quits here. And hope that we don't get mauled by bears, I guess. I guess to end this, if you're an emotional abuser, then you can get fucked. If you abuse anyone, you can get fucked. And if you got eaten by bears, I'm sorry that you got eaten by bears. We're going to end this episode here. If you guys liked this train wreck of an episode, then you can let me know and I will put more of these out. and you can watch me get a mixture of sad and angry over the course of 10 to 15 minutes. Hopefully it's 10 minutes at least. I'm very bad at estimating time after editing. But like I said with the second story, there's 2 more subreddits I just became aware of. BlackHoleRevenge and BigBangRevenge. I don't know which one's greater in that instance. I would assume BigBangRevenge. But either way, I will cover them if you guys would like to see them, because I've never heard of them. There's a lot of revenge subreddits. And we're gonna catch them all, Pikachu! Pika! Okay. Okay. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Seriously, it really helps. I guess for the question of the day, do you think in the second story he went too far by getting him mauled by bears? I mean, it kind of seems obvious to me. I think he did, but I mean, I also have a lot of other opinions, and in one of my earlier Nuclear Revenge, a lot of people disagreed with my take. So, let me know. You can click one of these videos on the end screen, and it'll take you to a different one that's less sad, hopefully. Click my face to subscribe. See ya.